What if the most powerful force in the entire universe wasn't some mighty weapon of destruction, but a simple instrument of creation? Not a sword, not a shield, not some celestial missile, but just a hollow piece of bamboo with 7 small holes. This, my friends, is the story of Krishna's flute, his beloved Bansuri. Its enchanting melodies are the stuff of legends, carrying a magic that could mesmerize people, animals, and even nature itself. But the biggest secret isn't in the notes Krishna played. The real power, the divine chord that can awaken your very soul, is hidden in the nature of the flute itself. It's a chord that doesn't speak to our ears, but to the deepest part of who we are. A chord that, once you understand it, gives you a blueprint for turning your own life into an instrument for divine music. So today, let's unravel this secret chord, layer by beautiful layer. We'll journey from its profound emptiness to the cosmic vibrations it channels, and discover how this ancient symbol holds a timeless message for every single one of us. And if you are new to our family, do consider subscribing to Vedic Wars. Our story begins on the sacred banks of the river Yamuna, where a humble bamboo reed felt worthless. It was surrounded by the vibrant life of Vrindavan, but it couldn't offer juicy fruits or cool shade like the grand trees, nor could it sing sweet songs like the birds. So, in its quiet despair, it did the only thing it could. It completely surrendered itself to Krishna, asking him to do with it whatever he wished. Touched by this pure and simple devotion, Krishna took the reed. With a loving hand, he cut it, hollowed it out, and gently pierced it with 7 holes, transforming the sad little plant into his cherished flute. From that day on, they were inseparable. The melodies that poured from it were so captivating that even the great gods, Brahma and Shiva, would fall silent in wonder. But as the gopis, the cowherd maidens of Vrindavan, danced in divine ecstasy, they often wondered, why was this simple flute so very special to him? The flute's humble answer holds the first key to the chord. The secret, it would whisper, is that I am empty. I have nothing of my own. This is the first and most fundamental secret of the chord, the principle of emptiness. In its natural state, the flute is just a piece of bamboo. It's straight, it's simple, and most importantly, it is hollow. This hollowness is not a flaw. It is a profound spiritual state. It represents a being that has emptied itself of ego, of pride, of desire, and of anger. In so many of our spiritual traditions, it is the ego, our sense of I and me, our attachments, our constant need to have our own way, that becomes the biggest block to connecting with the divine. The flute does not have a will of its own. It never decides what music to play or when. It simply and beautifully allows itself to be a vessel. This state is what our scriptures call Atma Nivedan, or total surrender. Krishna taught his devotees that to become his instrument, you must first become like the flute, hollowed out and free. The pains and sorrows we face in life, think of them as the holes being pierced into the reed. They are not defects, they are openings for the divine to enter. It is only when we let go of our own plans, our own inner noise, that we create the quiet space for a higher power to breathe through us. The flute's emptiness isn't a void, it is a space of infinite potential, just waiting to be filled with the divine breath, the prana shakti or life force of God. Just as the flute is useless without Krishna's breath, our lives find their true purpose not in being full of ourselves, but in becoming an instrument for that divine music. So, once the flute is empty, what kind of sound fills it? This is the second secret of the chord, and it takes us far beyond simple music and into the heart of cosmic vibration. The sound that comes from Krishna's flute is said to be a form of Anahata Nada, the unstruck sound. This is a divine concept from yoga that speaks of the primordial cosmic hum that vibrates underneath all of creation. It is the silent, internal sound that great yogis hear in their deepest meditation. This means Krishna's music isn't just a collection of lovely tunes. It is the sound of existence itself. It is the purest expression of cosmic harmony, reminding us how deeply interconnected all of life truly is. And that is why its effect was so universal. When Krishna played, rivers would literally stop flowing or change their course just to listen. Cows would stop grazing, their ears lifted in complete attention. Birds would fall silent, and trees would bend their branches closer, absolutely captivated. In fact, some scriptures say the sound from Krishna's flute is the same as the sacred mantra Om, the seed sound that sparked the entire universe into being. The flute then is not just an instrument, it is a direct channel for the creative force of the cosmos. Its music is a kind of spiritual weapon, not of violence, but of irresistible love, powerful enough to conquer hearts and dissolve the illusion that we are all separate beings. We've talked about the flute's emptiness and the cosmic sound it channels. Now we arrive at the most beautiful secret of the chord, the flute as a direct metaphor for the human spiritual body. The classic bamboo flute or bansuri that Krishna plays has 7 main holes, and their placement is no accident at all. Our spiritual traditions see these 7 holes as symbols for the 7 chakras, the main energy centers within our own bodies. These chakras, from the root at the base of your spine to the crown of your head, are the gateways for our life force, our Kundalini energy. The flute then becomes a map of our own spiritual potential. When Krishna puts his lips to the flute and breathes, it symbolizes the awakening of this divine energy within us. As his fingers dance over the holes to create different notes, it represents this energy rising and activating each chakra one by one. And the beautiful melody that comes out, that is the sound of a fully awakened and balanced spiritual system. The flute's music is said to have the power to align these chakras, clearing out any blockages and letting that divine energy flow freely, leading to a state of bliss and enlightenment. Your body is the flute. Your senses, your mind, and your intellect are the holes. If we can purify ourselves and surrender our ego, just as the bamboo reed did, then the divine can play its music right through us. We stop being a jumble of conflicting desires and become one harmonious instrument playing one beautiful song. The chord here reveals a profound truth. The path to enlightenment is not something you have to go out and find. The map, the instrument, and the potential for divine music are already right inside you. Understanding the flute symbolism is a journey for the mind, but this final piece of the chord, this is all for the heart. This is the flute's ultimate purpose. Its melody is the personal call of the divine to every single soul. This is shown most beautifully in the story of the Rasa Lila, the divine dance. On a moonlit night in Vrindavan, Krishna would play his flute and its call would echo through the forest. When the gopis heard this sound, they were filled with a longing so powerful they simply could not ignore it. They would abandon whatever they were doing, their chores, their families, their worldly duties, and just run to him, pulled by a love that was beyond any earthly ties. The gopis represent the individual soul, the Jivatma, and their desperate rush to meet Krishna symbolizes the soul's deep natural yearning to unite with the divine, the Paramatma. The flute's music is that sacred alarm clock that wakes us up from our sleep of worldly distractions. It is the voice of love itself, reminding us of our true home. Radha, Krishna's most beloved, often expressed a kind of divine jealousy for the flute because it was always touching the lips of her lord. This beautiful poetry captures the soul's ultimate wish to be that close to the divine, to be the very instrument through which divine love is expressed. And that's the final part of the quote. It tells us that inside each of us is a gopi, a soul that is listening for that melody. It is a call to leave behind the noise of the ego and the demands of the world and to answer the song of the spirit. It is an invitation to join the eternal dance of love, a dance that leads to true freedom and joy. If this journey into the flute secrets has touched your heart, do subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss our next exploration into ancient wisdom. And in the comments below, we would love to know, what is that one symbol or story that truly speaks to your soul? From a hollow reed on a riverbank to a symbol of cosmic harmony, Krishna's flute holds a deep, multi-layered code for our spiritual awakening. We have seen how its emptiness teaches us the wisdom of surrender, allowing us to become instruments for a higher purpose. We have heard how its melody is not just music, but the very vibration of creation, the Anahata Nada that connects every single thing. And we have discovered how its 7 holes give us a blueprint for our own spiritual body, a map to awakening the divine energy within our chakras. In the end, the secret code in Krishna's flute is an eternal invitation. It is the divine calling out to the human soul, a melody of pure love that promises to lead us from the noise of our own ego to the harmony of the cosmos. It teaches us that the greatest power isn't in asserting ourselves, but in becoming empty, not in speaking, but in listening. By embracing the lessons of the flute, we too can transform our lives from a single, lonely reed into an instrument, playing the beautiful, timeless music of the divine. Jai Shri Krishna.